Let me first begin with my dear sister in terms of this being a revolutionary epoch. I wasn't saying too much, you didn't miss nothing. I was beginning by pointing out to my dear sister Marina about her claim about we live in a revolutionary epoch. We had to define what we mean by that. See, from what your description, it seemed to me you were describing escalating waves of awakening among everyday people in the face of our relative defeat, which took place in the 70s and 80s. That the Reagan counter-revolution was just a symbol of poor and working people being targeted, and we are still in the midst of that class war from above against poor and working people, both in the American empire and in other sites around the world. So when you talk about the awakening that's taking place, and I'm with you on that, I affirm that wholeheartedly. I'm not sure I would call that a revolutionary, that's to making a revolutionary epoch. Because first you got awakening, then you've got social motion, then it moves to social momentum, then you have something rare, which is a social movement, and then when you have a social movement, there's a possibility of revolutionary transformation. We don't even have a movement. We got some momentum, thank God with Occupy, we had some motion. And we've got magnificent persons like yourselves who have been at it for a long time in terms of being in movement. That's different than having a movement. All of us have made a vow to be in movement until the worms get us. That doesn't mean we have a movement at all. We had a movement in the 60s, a number of movements that were co-opted, incorporated, or crushed, and just go to your prisons to see some of the warriors who have been there for 40 years. COINTELPRO, FBI, CIA, that they defeated us relatively. We bouncing back. We a bounce back people. When I say we, I'm not just talking about black folk, but I always begin on the chocolate side of town. Oh no, because I am a black freedom fighter. And it spills over to my precious vanilla brothers and sisters, and brown and yellow and indigenous peoples. But I am a black freedom fighter. Why? Because my mama's black and my daddy's black. And they have been the ones who have been rendered invisible when we talked about change and transformation and movements. But we have a broad enough vision that we are just as concerned about the Palestinian babies, just concerned about the Ethiopian babies, the Jewish babies, the brown babies, as we are the black babies, but it still begins on the chocolate side of town. That awakening, yes. Revolutionary epoch, aspirational. I'm with you at the level of aspiration. But those who are running things right now are vicious, cruel, mean-spirited, will crush you in a minute, and all you need to do is look at the condition of America's children. 22% poor, 40% of all children of color poor. That's not a sign of success for the left. That's not a sign of us in a revolutionary epoch in that sense. But the awakening is real, no doubt, and the art is always fundamental. It's no accident that last year was the first time in 50 years you didn't have a black artist who was #1 on the pop chart, the Billboard. Because all you got is bubblegum music. And right now the #1 song for the black artist was Happy, Happy, Happy. Cartoonish music. Ain't got nothing to do with Coltrane, ain't got nothing to do with Curtis Mayfield, ain't got nothing to do with Nina Simone, ain't got nothing to do with Gil Scott-Heron. And More Technique is on the move, Dead Press is on the move, Lupe Fiasco is on the move, Erykah Badu is on the move. Where's the stories and narrative in the movement? Carole Kings, where are the Carole Kings? That can tell a story. No, it's just all about pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. Access, access. Access to power, that's part of what the Obama phenomenon is. Access to power, that's the new crack for the professional class. Just give me access and I feel good about myself. What are you doing with it in relation to the suffering? What are you doing with it in relation to the struggling? So that in some ways I affirm what you're saying, but I'm calling into question the characterization of revolutionary epoch, and I'm with you wholeheartedly. I was blessed to be on my brother's album on Martyr. Well, we had a good time in the studio, I tell you. Oh, we had a good time. Well, this brother was a retiring artist, absolutely. But the role of art is fundamental. It's not just God talk, but it's what you do with that God talk. Because most God talk is profoundly dangerous. Deeply dangerous. Even with our new Pope, I like the Pope talking about the poor. I like his temperament and spirit, but he's still head of a profoundly patriarchal institution, profoundly homophobic institution, profoundly hierarchical institution with ties. We have to be critical in that regard, and I say that as a revolutionary Christian.